guys, how are you? Welcome back to another awesome video. And real quick before we get started, I just want to say and just be honest that I'm just comfortable sitting on my floor. I don't feel like grabbing a stool or grabbing a chair. So hopefully this angle is really good, this shot's fine, and I don't feel like sitting on my bed. But anyways, we're back with another top 10 video. It's been a while. I'm going to try and do some because I have a few ideas for a couple of top 10 videos. And for today's top 10 video is going to be the top 10 Dragon Ball Z villains. So for this list, we're going to look at who I consider my personal favorite Dragon Ball Z villains. And that's not specifically saying Dragon Ball Z, but like throughout the whole universe of Dragon Ball. And although I'm not a hardcore fan of Dragon Ball, I do know a bit of knowledge about it. So I want to at least be able to be like, hey, I know something about Dragon Ball, and just also talk about their villains, because they got some really good villains out there. So speaking of that, without further ado, let's kick things off. And at number 10, we've got Kid Buu. Now, some of you may or may not know this, but I despise Majin Buu. I hate him. He's annoying. But you know who's really terrifying, who's actually really creepy? Kid Buu. He's powerful, and he actually makes Pink seem terrifying, and just his overall power level and his overall presence and his look just screams like he's actually a really cool looking and really great villain. At number 9 is Piccolo. I know Piccolo's no longer a villain, and he has been a really good father figure, let alone a good father for Gohan. But when he was a villain, it was very interesting to see him be basically like almost like another rival for Goku, and plus he just has that look to him that he looks like a great villain, and plus like just things he does, like when he like throws off his robe so dramatically, it just feels so great. Number 8 is Android 21. Now, a while back I did a poll on who do you guys consider probably the best android out of all the androids, because all the androids really, a majority of them are really good. So a lot of you voted for 21, and you guys kind of persuaded me, and therefore 21 has made it onto this spot and onto this list. And honestly, she's powerful, she's psychotic, she's sadistic, but I think we all love that about 21. Not only that, but I think we like her for a few other reasons, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But that aside, she actually does pack a powerful punch. Number 7 is Broly. I'm going to specifically say the Broly from the Dragon Ball Super movie, the Super Broly movie, because I really could care less about the Dragon Ball Z version of Broly. I really like what the Super Broly movie did with Broly, because not only was he such a powerhouse, but you kind of felt sympathy for this guy, because he was just kind of being used by Frieza just to be his tank, his muscle, just to beat the shit out of both Vegeta and Goku. And so you do relate, you do feel bad for him, and sometimes the best villains are the ones you can just feel sympathy for. We've seen that with several iterations of villains in fiction. So it's great that Broly kind of has that complexity to him, and he's got that bit of like urge and hunger for a challenge. And I think they just brought that level of complexity to him just perfectly. I think it just makes him perfect and makes him a better character and a better villain, and it makes him a better arc for him. Number 6 is Hit. He just looks so awesome in Hit. That just sounds like a really great name for a villain, and especially with him being a mercenary, and just let alone the fact that your English dub is Matthew Mercer. That just gives it bonus points right there. And plus he's just such a really good assassin. He's just powerful, and he just does it so cool. He's such a good mercenary. He reminds me of like the Hitman version of Dragon Ball. Alright, we're nearly down to a final 5 on my list. Now number 5 is Beerus. We have to have the God of Destruction on this list because of how many times he's gone toe-to-toe with almost everyone in the universe. And let alone, he's almost trained everyone in the universe. From Goku to Vegeta to Frieza, he's almost fought and conquered everyone. And I think that's what makes him so really cool, is that he's been around for so long and he's trained everybody. So he kind of is aware of how everybody fights, and that makes him more powerful. And just him being the god of destruction just makes him so cool. And number 4 is Cell. Now, I'd be lying if I said that he's on this list not because of how perfect Cell is, or how powerful he can be, or his arrogance, or his narcissism, or the fact that he basically made and trained and forged and almost developed and helped create Gohan, and that rivalry between the two of them.
The Cell Saga, the Cell games. My character's story progressed across multiple timelines.
But that's all the truth, is because of those things is what makes Cell so great. And yet at the same time, just sometimes his attitude is just too funny. The way he's snarky, the way he's such an asshole is just, it just screams a perfect villain. And just, like, you gotta love him sometimes. Like, sometimes, like, he's too full of himself, he's too in over his head because he thinks of how perfect he is, but yet you gotta love him sometimes. Number 3 is Vegeta. Now, I know Vegeta's no longer really considered a villain in the Dragon Ball universe, so the same thing I said with Piccolo, I'm gonna say with Vegeta. I know Vegeta's technically now an anti-hero, but I still can't help but think of the many times he was a villain, and especially that anger and that vengeance in his blood, especially with what Frieza made him do all these years, and especially having such a long, like, relationship with Goku, whether it was them training or them just fighting or whatever it is. They've had such a, like, they've always, whether they've been hero versus villain or buddy cop, like, situation going on between the two of them, whatever their relationship is, however you see their relationship, they've always butt heads. Just Vegeta alone just has such great arcs to him that makes me still see that villain in him. And like I said, I know he's an anti-hero, so he still technically classifies as a villain in this, for this list. And number 2 is Goku Black. I know probably a lot of you will argue that probably the big reason why Goku Black is such a great villain is because of Zamasu. And I agree. Zamasu is the reason why Goku Black is who he is, and the fact that he pushed him and made him the way he is and the way his mentality thinks. And just, I love what they did in Dragon Ball Super with Goku Black, with that arc and that whole multiverse thing and this other universe Goku and him and Zamasu, and just, he became this powerhouse. And just, I like his arrogance, and I think that's what I like, is his personality and his power level. And he just makes that pink hair, that Super Saiyan Rosea form, looks so good. There's very few people or characters in fiction that can pull off pink. He's one in my book for sure, and that is definitely a bonus point. Before I unveil my number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Jiren, literally one of the very few people that was actually able to go toe-to-toe with Ultra Instinct Goku. Janemba. I like this specific version of Janemba because he just looks so cool and he just seems so menacing, because I'm not too crazy about that weird, like, giant form he's got going on, although he's still a force to be reckoned with. Cooler. I feel like any information or any background or anything you guys might know about Cooler, or just the fact that he's Cooler, just kind of makes him a part of this list, if not just a part of these honorable mentions. Super Baby. I know GT is very hated amongst the Dragon Ball fans, but I think one of the really special and actual interesting and unique things about GT was Super Baby and that sort of arc and what they did with his character. Now, my number 1 pick of my top 10 Dragon Ball Z villains is, drumroll please, Frieza! I know it's very obvious, and it's a very obvious answer, but sometimes the obvious answers are the best answers. And what I really like with Frieza, and just follow me on this, is I feel like he's kind of like the Joker in a way, in 3 different cases. Reason 1 is he always seems to push the envelope, whether it is decimating or conquering planets or reaching new forms of power. He's always pushing the envelope in every situation. Reason two is the fact that he has conquered and destroyed so many planets. Specifically and most notably, he destroyed planet Vegeta, and hence why we kind of got Vegeta because of Frieza, in a sense. And reason three is because he has that like psychoticness to him, like a slight psychoticness to him, for the fact that he just enjoys just watching people burn, watching people die, and he can just laugh in the face of pain and suffering and watching other people suffer. And just him being so powerful. So I feel like that kind of just sums it all up. And that is my list, and those are my favorite Dragon Ball Z villains. Are there any I may have forgotten, or is there any that you think are your favorites? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, if not every week. Make sure you ring that bell, do new videos every day, if not every week. Share it with your family, friends, all the good stuff and more. Leave any suggestions in the comment section. You name it. I'll look into it as best as possible. You got any top 10 ideas? I'll look at those. Hopefully somewhere down the line. And I'm going to try and get some uploads going. Start getting this train track going. And start moving and going. And not only just content, but I am going to move it and groove it and keep on going. And move this train on going to doing things in life. So getting things accomplished, that's for sure. One way or another. And in both ways. So for content and for my personal self. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.